Hello and welcome back to a brand new video on my special effects channel. So today's video is going to be me showing you guys 3 different methods using 3 different materials on how to create a cut or wound from SFX makeup. So stay tuned to see that. Right, so the first technique that I'm going to use is going to be using liquid latex and tissue paper. So this is probably the easiest technique and you need the least materials for the, well actually, it's just the easiest one to get access to the materials. The materials are cheap. You probably have definitely the tissue roll lying around your home, and liquid latex is pretty cheap. This is just the easiest one, however it's the least effective, but for beginners or if you're just doing a bit of Halloween makeup, it's fine. So the first thing that you need to do, I'm going to be using this Graftobian liquid latex. I'm going to pour a bit out. You also need to kind of rip some tissue paper just so that you get, you know, how it's got 2 layers, get 1 layer, and then you're gonna kind of want to rip a few thin strips like so, and then you're going to want to, and do this one on this side, you're gonna want to place your liquid latex in this kind of wound shape. Stuck. And then you want to place your tissue paper on the top of that. This just adds bulk and adds a bit of layer to the look, well, to the wound. And then you just want to measure out your tissue roll, keep making it too long, and just stick that to it. You're gonna have to do quite a few layers of this, and then you want to do the other side. So once you've done that, you need to go in with another layer of liquid latex over the top of that, making sure you're covering that whole bit, and then you add more tissue paper on top of that. This is how you're building up your wound. You just continue that, you probably want 4 layers maybe. So just continue doing that until you're happy with how many layers you've got. I'd probably recommend about 4 to be fair, 3 or 4 or maybe 5, just however thick you want it. Just making sure that you are leaving this middle bit kind of exposed, because that's obviously going to be the middle of the wound. But continue doing that, and then you want to leave the liquid latex to dry. And then you do want to put another layer of liquid latex when you're finished putting on the tissue, just to seal tissue onto your skin and in place. So if you're patient, you can leave that to dry, or you can just dry it off with a hairdryer, but honestly liquid latex doesn't take long at all to dry. So once that's all dry, obviously it's not your skin colour, so you're going to want to take some foundation on a beauty blender and start colouring it over the top of that wound, well, over that liquid latex. You are going to need quite a lot, because it takes quite a lot to cover the bits of tissue. You then want to go in with some clear translucent powder and just set that foundation that you've just added on there. So if you do want this to look more lifted, you can just add more layers and kind of roll the layers, but obviously you can see that it's kind of connected. You just want to be really careful with some scissors and just cut through. That's the middle of your wound. You can cut off the big excess bits of the liquid latex, which is obviously supposed to be your skin, or you can leave it kind of flat so it looks like your skin's pulled off. So obviously now you're going to want to add some blood in there. So I'm going to use this Graftobian blood. This one's got a little spatula on, and you just want to go in and add the blood into the middle. Obviously you can see there is harsh lines. Liquid latex is really hard to blend into your skin, so we're just going to stipple some blood over that. So you've obviously got the really harsh edges, so you want to take a stipple sponge and start stippling blood to try and disguise the edges as much as you possibly can. Or you can add bits of blood to your finger and just bring it up and around, just to make it look like the blood has, you know, come up. So there you go, that is your first one. Obviously, like I said, it doesn't look realistic, but it's like perfect for like beginners, like kids, if you want to try a bit of special effects, or Halloween, because Halloween isn't about it being like super realistic, it's just about having fun, isn't it? My skin's a little stained from that first one. But moving swiftly on to the next method is using scar wax. This method is kind of opted by a lot of amateur artists, people just getting into special effects, because it does give a realistic look and it's a lot easier than using like silicone. It doesn't take as long, it's kind of quick and kind of easy. So I'm going to show you how I do this. So you want to take a little blob of scar wax and you just want to place it where you want it. You can also do the method where you create two wormy bits and attach them to make them look like a wound, but I'm actually going to be doing this way because it's easier for those of you just starting up. And then I use Vaseline to help smooth it out. Then you want to smooth it out into your skin to make it look as skin-like as possible. Just keep smoothing and smoothing. You might also want to use a spatula to just help you smooth it into your skin. My skin's gone really irritated from the latex on that side. It's fine to use it on your skin, but for some reason, I think because my skin was a bit sore anyway, putting that on hasn't really helped. But I'm just gonna go in and powder that to take away the shine from the Vaseline. You then want to go in and add your cut into it in whatever shape you really want it to be. So once you've added the wound into there, you can then smooth the edges, and then you're going to want to colour it with like an alcohol activated paint or some paints. So I always start by colouring the edges like a red colour so they look irritated. I'm just going to bring this a little closer. Just so they look irritated, like the skin has obviously been cut. My skin around it already looks irritated enough anyway. So as you can see, that just gives it an irritated look. And then I colour the centre a little bit of a darker colour, so you get a bit of depth in there. I'm just using this purpley colour. So once you've done that, I then go in and add in some blood. You can also use the same method of the stipple sponge to stipple a little bit around, but you honestly don't need as much. So you can literally just, I do it in the middle of the wound to create a bit of texture around the edges, and you can literally just stipple a tiny bit around, and then you've got this sort of wound looking like this. I kind of go for like a stab wound maybe, or a hole in my face. I didn't really know where I was going with this before I did it, but then I just did it. So yeah, that is the second method complete. I personally, for me, this is my favourite method to use. It's quicker, it's easier than the next method I'm going to show you, and it looks more realistic than the first method. So the next method I'm going to show you is using silicone sculpt gels. So you get a part A, part B and part C, and you just need to mix equal parts of A and B, and then like half of that of C. So I'm going to mix it right now. And I also recommend adding a bit of, oh, I'm knocking everything over, a bit of foundation in just to give it your skin tone. So once you've mixed them all together, you can actually then, it should kind of look like this, and like this sort of consistency, like it doesn't drop off or anything, but it is still moldable. So then you do want to actually start molding the shape of the wound on your face. So I'm actually going to do it on this side because this side's like really irritated from that blood and liquid latex. I don't know what's going on. Usually it's fine on my skin. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and mold this into the shape that I want. So you just want to kind of add it on into the shape that you want. See, this is why this one's a little harder, because it is a little harder to mold. So I'm just going to do a simple wound shape, just like that. I've done all these dead ones like dead easy, just and quick and easy, just to give you like a sort of idea. And then you want to blend out the edges and blend them into your surrounding skin like this, so that obviously it looks more realistic. Out of all three of the different methods, this is definitely the most realistic one. So I've opted to do quite a surface wound. Obviously, if you want to make it look a bit deeper, you just make the edges look higher and then go in and blend them into your skin. So depending on how much of this silicone that you have used, it does take a different amounts of time to dry, but it does usually take quite a bit of time to dry. So this is probably going to take 10 minutes to dry. Bigger wounds with more like thicker amounts of it take like 20-25 minutes, but you do want to wait for it to dry, so that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so I'm back. It's like 15 minutes later, so I'm now going to powder the area. This takes away shine and also helps it to set if it isn't completely dry yet. And then the same rules apply. You want to colour it and add your blood. So I've just coloured the edges and the middle red, and now I'm going to add the blood. Again, you can stipple a bit around if you want to. If I can find my stipple sponge, there it is. So yeah, that's that one finished. This is like a really surface wound. I didn't go deep with this one at all, just because I wanted to demonstrate how to do it without taking too long to do it and too long to dry. Look at this cute little ringlet, perfect little ringlets there. That's cute. Okay, anyway, so that is the final video. Like, I finished. That was like 3 different techniques. Obviously, I think as I went on, they progress and like how hard they are, but like how realistic and good they look. So thank you for watching. I hope this video helped you a lot, because I've watched videos that are kind of similar to this and they've helped me when I was starting up. So please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.